We live in the safest, most comfortable society in history, and yet our children are more anxious now than perhaps has ever been recorded. Let's look into one of the great thinkers, Johnathan Haidt, and his ideas about why that might be. Let's go.
How are we doing as a species? Well, as a species, as one of my friends said, we're going to be pretty hard to kill off. We'll be like cockroaches, and, we're pretty inventive in that way. But as a civilization, I think we might well be at a point of there are peaks and valleys, and there are some cycles in history, and we may be at one of those turning points, and it's going to be pretty unclear what happens over the next 5 or 10 years.
My name is Casey, I'm the Rumble Right Dad, and I have been a therapist for more than 13 years and seen the degradation of a generation who says persistently within my sessions that they are crashing out. And it is time to look at why they've been coddled into this mess and perhaps what my generation, millennials, had to do with it.
It's free. So in general, connecting people is good, and we were all very optimistic about the internet in the 1990s. It was amazing. And in our conversation today, I want to make it very clear, the internet is absolutely amazing. This is not about how the internet is bad. Smartphones or the iPhone, is absolutely amazing, although there are some things about it that are problematic. It's really especially social media which has changed things.
For the most part, millennials cushioned everything. There was a article recently that said there's a rise of FAFO parenting in lieu of gentle parenting, and I quite frankly think that some middle ground would be great. However, millennials are perhaps the baddies. We were raised by boomers, and then we reverted back to whatever the hell type of feelings-based parenting we felt was necessary after that trend, and we raised a coddled generation, the generation of Z, and potentially they have, hard times create strong men again, so they might have the opportunity to rebound from that. But if we don't get this right, we won't even have the type of populace that's willing and able to fight for what's right and determine our future against some of the hordes that are trying to take the American dream away from us. You can implant whoever you want into that. And there's several that I could put in there, including daddy government, along with some of the others. You know who I'm saying.
And so in 2010, most teenagers are using the flip phone as a tool to call each other, text each other, meet up. So when technology helps us achieve our goals, that's good. By 2015, everything's different. By 2015, the great majority of Americans, certainly teens, have a smartphone with a front-facing camera. The girls are mostly on Instagram, which was the first social media platform that you had to be on a smartphone for. Everything else was web-based. They have high-speed internet, unlimited texting, and now it's possible to spend 10, 15 hours a day on your phone.
Instead of seeking new friendships and trying to socialize, kids are now addicted to online validation, which might include leveling up your hero on Skyrim, to choose an example, and or on upgrading your Instagram following. And all of these things are like these cheap dopamine hits, which actually prevent pursuit of goal-directed activities in real life, which is what dopamine is at least partially intended for. It is a reward system, but it's also here to give us the chutzpah to be able to pursue those rewards. And when you just get a drip of it throughout your day, you actually prevent yourself from being able to reach those goal-directed activities. So if you ever feel like you're just out of energy at the end of the evening or even in the middle of the afternoon, perhaps it's because your phone has been up your butt for too much of the day prior. Teens are now lacking real-world stress testing, and when we should be pursuing our socialization and our peers as the new worldview sector that we try to derive meaning from, we are instead doing that online and instead seeing maybe some of the clickbait, algorithmic promotion of behaviors and activities that you really shouldn't be promoting, but you get what you incentivize, and we've incentivized the most drastic, outlandish behavior possible. See some of these social contagions that have taken place in the last 10 years to validate that argument. Now, when I was a child, not that this was that much better, we used to run the neighborhood and go get in fights and play football and go to the creek and try to behave in other ways that weren't probably what our parents would have preferred, but it did teach me how to solve conflict resolution in real life in which I actually had conflicts, and it wasn't online, so it wasn't just persistently texting back and forth to find out who was going to win the battle for tickle fight in the sandbox. Parents, and really America as a whole, is not just raising a generation of kids who can't handle conflict because they've been shielded from it, but we are raising a generation of adults who can't handle conflict because they've been siloed from it. In our political specters, our other lack of tribalism has really become a problem, honestly. And I'm saying we don't have tribes in real life. We don't have real world examples. Instead, we have online silos, and that has caused some of the doom spirals and doom scrolling that have caused more anxiety even among adults, and especially my millennial generation, because the internet was sort of proliferated most by us, and at least in the social media realm, we believed it was a fundamental good. That is not true. So in this case, Haidt was right. We rewired childhood, and quite frankly, the millennials made it happen. And now is our opportunity to turn from this. The best time to plant a tree for shade was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. And if we do not begin to help our children be more resilient in real life, we will have an American populace incapable of fighting back against what ails us. If this has been of any service to you, or if I can help you at all, email me at rumblerightdad@gmail.com, and I will try to put some of your questions in a future video. I love you guys. Thanks so much for the support. Talk to you later.